Hey guys, we are live. Brody here with Squid's Pressure Washing LLC, Kansas City's highest rated pressure washing service / exterior cleaning company, and a veteran owned business. We're going to chat a little bit today about the best injector on the gosh darn planet, and why I think it's the best gosh darn injector on the planet. Two things I will apologize for: the lighting. My bulb up here burn out, and we're working off not quite dusk here, but sun's on the other side of the house. The other thing we're going to talk about is why you should buy things in triples when you place orders. So wasn't there like a Mr. Rogers skit or something, or Sesame Street, where they're like, we got a package, we got a package. Oh, and the other thing, the second thing I have to apologize for is my voice. I hope you guys can hear me. I had a little bit of a fever on Monday and still don't feel 100%, so that's why I sound like a cartoon character, most likely. But what do we get from Dultmeier? We'll get to the meat of the video first and foremost, because if you guys came here to learn about the best injector, you can shut it off after this. But these, let me take it out. These are stainless steel, has a ceramic ball. The spring is stainless steel. The barb is something called Kynar or Kynar, Kynar. I'm not quite sure, but last year I was going through brass injectors, like once a month if I was lucky, and other times it was shorter than that. And these are about the same gosh darn price, just a little more expensive. But when I swapped the stainless steel with the proportioner, so I can control mixes via proportioner instead of diluting things down, I haven't swapped one out since. And the only reason I bought this one is because I had a whip line blow about a week ago, and it would have been much easier with fresh quick connects, with fresh O-rings, to just pop that whip line out with the injector on it, pop that injector out, pop it on, because the old one had gotten so gummy, the old quick connects had gotten so gummy that once I finally broke them free, I swapped out the O-ring. I couldn't get them to lock back without a little bit of WD-40. So now on the spare whip line, it goes to the reel, I'm going to have a brand new injector on it. So this is a backup for the other injector that works fantastic, but the whip line was the issue, and everything was in line with quick connects. But we'll talk about this. Haven't replaced one since I replaced these out last year. And at this point, pretty easily we're doing 50, 60 houses a month, and that's not including commercial jobs. And we use these every day. We flush them out afterwards, just like we would with the brass, but these have not failed. And I wonder if I can get it apart. My nickname in high school was the wrench because I had such a strong grip. That's a total lie. I made all that up. But anyway, in here there is a ceramic ball instead of steel one. And instead of just some cheap spring, it's stainless steel spring. So this thing is about as corrosion proof as it gets, unless they found a way to make these out of ceramic or some kind of durable plastic. But General Pump, Dultmeier has them. Let me see if I don't have my slip. I can give you a model number. When you order these, if you're running on long hoses, like 225 feet is the hose that I like on the reel, you have to do a step down. And this one says 0.086, and that's the orifice size, which isn't like what you normally see on some of the other ones, which is like 2.1 or whatever. So you have to be a little bit careful. You got to pay attention to the GPM. So the machine I have, the general phrase in our industry, especially in the forums, is 8 GPM. Mine's actually a 7, the big one. So we stepped down to a 3 to 5 GPM injector, and with the bucket test, hose all the way rolled out, and the gray proportioner, I was getting exactly 1% SH with these bad boys. You can run it with no proportioner. However, if you do that a lot, you'll find that, well, maybe not. Your system may be set up differently, but I found that no proportioner in it actually has a harder time pulling soap. I'm not a injectorologist at all, so I don't know why that's the case. But this and these are peanut butter and jelly. They go together. And yes, like pineapple on pizza. Love pineapple on pizza. Pineapple, beef, jalapeno. That's my jam. That's my ride or die. But anyway, just like the X-Jet, you can get a bag of these proportioners, and if you call up to them, they'll say, these are not the proportioners that go with that thing. They certainly are. They are the DEMA engineering proportioners, and there's about 46,000 of them in there. So what you've got to do is read your card and find the biggest 3 or 4. 3 really, because if you go to 4, it's like 40 to 1 or something crazy. But the biggest 3, and just throw the rest out. You don't need them. But you do need the biggest 3. And keep track of them, because these things like the X-Jet proportioners disappear. So actually use a little Plano tackle box to make sure that everything is locked up. And if you leave them in the bag, they disappear. Hey, what's up, Greg? Thanks for stopping in. So that's that. This is the best injector you can buy, in my opinion. Stainless steel, no corrosion, hasn't failed on 4 machines in a year. And they're about the same price, just a little more expensive. My favorite place to get these is Dultmeier, Dultmeier, because I haven't seen them at Pressure Tech, which is my next favorite place to get. These are about $7. So I guess if you want to pinch pennies, or if we want to argue about, yeah, I will, actually. It's a good idea. I'll put a link in the description as soon as I find it. Dultmeier, if they get to see this, you guys need to fix your website, because it is tough to navigate. But I will put some links up. And again, you've got to pay attention to the GPM on these, because you've got to step down one in order for it to work well. You don't want to trust the GPM range, especially if you're running on hoses 200 feet or longer, or 150 feet or longer maybe. But that was the entire point of the video. I wanted to show you guys the injector that, like I said, I've swapped out and haven't had to change it since. The brass ones, I had a graveyard of dead brass injectors. You should. You should. I actually showed the guys from Nebraska how to downstream stucco effectively. So we don't talk about that a lot, but we'll talk about the other reason for the video. If you guys came just for downstream injectors, you can shut it off now, because I want to talk about why you buy replacements in 3 pieces. You buy replacements in 3 pieces, so on one of them you can wrap a piece of painter's tape on it, like the frog tape you're going to use to tape up the outlets anyway. When you get down to the last one, you can just reorder. But stuff breaks all the time, non-stop. These, I can't seem to keep a hold of them. I mean, they grow legs and disappear, but these are fantastic. This actually goes on the exterior faucet. You thread this on the exterior faucet, you can use this to connect garden hose. And this, because these are molded and they're not stamped, like the stamped aluminum fittings in your garden hose, these are actually a lot easier to thread onto the faucet, believe it or not. And if you're trying to knock out houses in an hour or less, I wouldn't even fuss with trying to put the garden hose on there. I would pop this on there, and then you can pop your filter, You put one of these on the filter and pop it in, but these are awesome. I love them. And the other thing I like for these is I actually put these on the end of every inlet hose and just reel them up on the reel, because that Flexilla claps over it so you don't have big bumps on your reel. But if you only need 75 feet of hose, you can cam lock this off, cam lock it back onto your filter or your reel or however you have it set up without unthreading everything or pulling all of the garden hose off the reel. Because that Flexilla, if it's collapsed on the reel, you lose some flow and you can hear it whistle if it's flat on the reel. So pick yourself up some of these and buy in threes, because they're going to disappear. They're cheap, or they're going to break. I have had some of these break up here by reefing on them too hard, cranking on them too hard. But they are beautiful. Cool. Good to see you, Greg. I'll chat with you soon. Fittings for days. I only needed about 3 different fittings, I think. But fittings go bad too on occasion. And the reason, the female fittings, not so much. And you can actually get by with the cheapest gosh darn quick connect fittings you can find. And if you get the brass female quick connect, it's actually better because it's softer. And if you ever look inside, well, I think they still have the stainless steel ball, so disregard that. And I'm missing my male quick connect to female NPT thread. But you can get by with the cheapest quick connects that you can find, and the cheapest quick connects I can find is either Dultmeier or actually a hydraulic shop here in Kansas City. I can find these for like $1.90. These for like $3.67 or something crazy. So check your local hydraulic shop. But if you ever take a look at your male fitting, when pressure builds up in that line, you get a little bit of a hammer, and it's like, doo, 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 right? So if you look at all your male fittings, it's mushroomed out at the bottom, and they get harder and harder and harder to get in the quick connect. So these need to get replaced all the time. These, not so much. And you can get by with the cheapest fittings known to man by swapping out the O-ring before you ever install it on anything to Viton O-rings. They're like little brown or purplish O-rings. Viton O-rings will make a $3 female quick connect operate like an $8 or a $10 female quick connect. And again, you got to replace these all the time because they get mushroomed out. And I'm wondering what, oh, okay, I know what happened. They sent them, Dultmeier sends stuff in the fewest amount of packages possible. But when I buy fittings, I buy them in 5s or 10s. And that's because what if I want to build another trailer, or I want to build another machine on the fly? The little stuff, if you place an order, is probably going to be the stuff that you forget first. I mean, you need an engine, you need a pump, you need reels, you need hoses. But I love having a backlog of fittings. And in your bucket, like I said, your tool bucket, 5-gallon bucket with one of those spin lock lids. You throw your picks in there to change your O-rings, your bags of Viton O-rings. You throw 3 fittings, and on one of them, you put a piece of painter's tape so you know it's the last one. When you see it, you open the bucket, you can do a super quick inventory. And then when you get the new ones, you just swap them out. And that painter's tape, you can thread right over or whatever. And it's pretty pliable or degradable or something. But again, if you guys are sticking around to find out about the injector and you stuck around this long, I'll recap it when you buy things. And whip lines too. The other day when I had that whip line blowout, if I didn't have 3 hanging up in the shop and 1 with me, I probably would have had to spend half a day to go to the hydraulic shop to figure out to get a whip line. So fittings, buy the cheapest ones you can find. swap out all the female with, before you ever even put it on anything, swap it out with Viton O-rings. They last way longer than these cheap little things that they put in there. And you think that they'd just upcharge you another 20 cents by putting a good O-ring in it, but never found a stock O-ring that is worth a hoot. And that's about it. So order 3 of everything. After, you guys check out the best injectors on the planet. The best. You'll spend a little bit more, just a little bit more, to not have to swap them out ever all year. And actually, the ones that I swapped out, I think, are about to roll into a second year with no issues whatsoever. With the proportioners, again, recap, there's a bunch of them in here. You just need the biggest 3, throw the rest out. Put the ones you're keeping. The gray one in here is what I like. Put the rest in a little Plano tackle box that has a positive locking system, because those things disappear. And while we're talking about ordering extras, these are so cheap, you might as well order 40 bags of them, because you're going to go through 40 bags of them a year, at least if you're me and the subcontractors I use. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Thanks for watching. I'll put a link to the cam locks, Dultmeier for the injector, and let me know what you guys think if you get to try them out. Thanks for watching.